Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam, and to all my American viewers out there, Happy Independence Day, and to all my international viewers, if any, well, I hope you have a beautiful Sunday. This is a very special day, and I'm happy to live here, I'm proud to be an American. There is nowhere else that I would rather live. Every year on the 4th of July, I watch one of my all-time favorite movies, and a supremely underrated musical at that. It is 1776. This was directed by Peter H. Hunt. It is based on the musical created by Sherman Edwards, and the movie version stars William Daniels, Howard Da Silva, Ken Howard, and Donald Madden, among others. And basically, in musical form, this is about the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which is a pretty important day, to say the least. And today, this is just going to be me just gushing about this movie, because it is legitimately one of my all-time favorites. This will not be a blow-by-blow review. I believe that you all should check the movie out for yourself. It is well worth your time. In 1972, 1776, the Broadway musical debuted, and it was a rousing success, winning 3 Tony Awards, including Best Musical for 1972. One of the fans of the musical was Jack Warner, who was a pretty big deal at the time. He owned a little studio called Warner Brothers. So after seeing a production of it, he immediately approached Sherman Edwards and said, "Hey dude, I want the rights." And so he was granted them, and a movie was released soon after. Going into this review, I was a little nervous that people would just be like, "Oh, this movie has not aged well, it's just out of step with our modern tastes." But going on Letterboxd, there's actually a lot of love for this movie. The lowest that I saw was I think 2.5 stars. There were some even 4 and 5 star ratings, which I was just taken aback by. And like I said, myself and my father watch this movie every year on the 4th of July, and yep, the movie's still incredible. I was thinking about it for the longest time as to why this movie is so great. And I wrote this down, I think this statement just knocks it out of the ballpark. Even though you know what's going to happen, this movie puts doubt in your mind. Because, most of us are living in America, so the Declaration of Independence was signed, and we're all still kicking to this very day. So we all know how that happens. However, the movie does such an excellent job of questioning whether or not the Declaration will be signed that even the most ardent patriot who is like America was around forever and will be here forever just will probably get white knuckles. It's a thrill ride, really, because the movie does an excellent job of building up the tension of will the Declaration be signed, and selling the fact that before the U.S. was independent, we were pretty much underneath the boot of the British, and it was not fun. We were taxed, we were attacked, we were seen as 4th-class citizens, pretty much. Enter John Adams, played by William Daniels. 90s kids will probably recognize this face as Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. Now that I've actually seen some episodes of the show, I can confidently say that yes, he is good in that show as well, but I will always know him as John Adams from 1776 because he is brilliant. Just his first little monologue is truly epic. After he hears that the Congress is going to be voting on a very important decision, whether or not the military should wear matching uniforms, he storms down into the Congress chambers, and he completely torches the Continental Congress. "I have come to the conclusion that 1 useless man is called a disgrace, that 2 are called a law firm, and 3 or more become a Congress." I suppose it's nice to know that nothing has changed. But John Adams is so desperately trying to get this independence thing off the ground. But there is one problem, as Ben Franklin so eloquently put it: he's obnoxious and disliked. John Adams in this movie could have just so easily been just a blowhard, but he actually comes from a genuinely good place. He wants America to be free. the only way he knows how is just this, pretty much. There are many moments in which he can be very quiet and subtle, especially the moments when he's talking to his wife Abigail in dream form. Those moments are great, because it's, as far as its independence goes, it's either this or nothing. Adams is pretty much nothing to go back to. His law practice is gone, and it's either this independence thing or nothing. He's pretty much going to go broke. Not only can he be very subtle, but he can also be incredibly funny as well. Two of my favorite moments are when, after he has yelled at Congress for doing nothing, again, nothing's changed, he goes to find Ben Franklin, who is being immortalized for posterity. He's asked if he likes the painting. He looks at the painting. He turns and he looks to the artist and he says, "It stinks." I guess it's a good place to talk about Ben Franklin. He's played by Howard Da Silva, and from all accounts, he was incredibly difficult to work with. However, the destination was well worth the journey, because this guy is Ben Franklin to me. No matter who plays him, it'll always be compared to Howard Da Silva. He's got the voice, the mannerisms, the look, like everything. He's got it down. Again, similar to Adams, he can be very silly. He has gout, he falls asleep randomly, and he is so convinced of his greatness that he walks into many a joke from Adams. Like, the chemistry between Adams and Franklin in this movie is severely underrated. However, he has many of my favorite quotes in this movie. One in particular is in which there's a three-way going between John Adams, John Dickinson, and Franklin. I'll get to Dickinson in a second. But when Dickinson says, "Fortunately for us, the people have more than enough love for their mother country." And then Franklin just lights into him by saying, "Higher certainly than she feels for them. Never was such a valuable possession so stupidly and recklessly managed than this entire continent by the British Crown. Our industry discouraged, our resources pillaged. Worst of all, our very character stifled. We've spawned a new race here, Mr. Dickinson. Rougher, simpler, more violent, more enterprising, less refined. We're a new nationality. We require a new nation." Dang it, I still get chills every time. And while there are many Congress members also with their own characters, including Stephen Hopkins of Rhode Island, who is the Congress drunk, and Dr. Lyman Hall, who is the new guy, and becomes very, very important to the story later on, no spoilers there for certain, the most memorable, member of Congress outside of Adams, Franklin, and later Jefferson, I'll get to him in a second, is John Dickinson, played by Donald Madden. I have no idea what other movies he was been in, but I will always know him for this, and that is a legacy to leave behind. John Dickinson is basically the rich guy in the movie. No one knows why he is rich, but he's very comfortable with British rule, and he is completely tone deaf to all of the terrible taxes that have been going on. But unlike other movies, this movie actually gives him a few scenes where you're like, "Oh, you got a point." In the scene after it is finally ruled upon that independence can be debated because that was being stopgapped, Dickinson just goes to Adams and he says, "Why independence, Adams?" And Adams basically tells him, because we under British rule, it has become intolerable. And Adams runs down the various offenses, and Dickinson just looks at him and goes, "Is that all England means to you?" And he runs down the list of famous Brits, like Richard Lionheart, references Magna Carta, and he goes down the line. But by that point, he has officially run out of patience with Adams and basically says that he's an agitator. And he finishes off with this quote, "Your petty little concern, your taxes are too high." Well, Mr. Adams, so are mine. He is definitely the antagonist here. He more than has his moments of, I really do not like this person. Basically, the entirety of Cool Conservative Men is definitely assured of that. However, by the end, you can't hate this guy because it's just he has a different way of doing things. And I guess it's a good place to parlay into the songs, because this is a musical after all, and the songs in this movie are just awesome. They can go from super silly to basically Richard Henry Lee's song, My Name is Richard Henry Lee and Virginia is My Home, which, by the way, I hope that actor got work after this, because whatever he was paid in this movie, it wasn't enough, because he was awesome. There's Mr. Adams, Maybe You Should Write It, where it's among the Declaration Committee as to who is going to write the Declaration, and it falls to Thomas Jefferson. There's Is Anybody There, where it is just fantastic. There's Hey Mama Look Sharp, which is just dark as all hell. I could go on for days. Just the songs in this movie are unbelievably good. Even if you're not a fan of musicals, and I know some people who are like that, I still recommend watching this anyway, because there's actually a good amount of time in between the songs. I think from the Richard Henry Lee song to But Mr. Adams is a significant amount of time. Like, I think 40 to 45 minutes. I could be off on that. I suck at math. But it's a big block of time in which the debate is going, and it's super compelling. It really is. And like I said, this movie, why it works is that even though we all know what's going to happen, the Declaration eventually does get signed. We all know this if we attended at least one history class. There are many moments in just we're like, oh god, this is the darkest timeline. We're going to be singing Three Lions and Boris Johnson will be our president. Which, I'm not into politics. I think it's a waste of time, but I hear that that is a bad thing? Question mark? In any other movie, that would be too predictable. But because this movie is so compelling, you just completely put that thought out of your mind and you're sucked in. That's why this movie's so brilliant. And at the end of the day, I could talk about this movie for days. I'd like to make a longer video talking about it, but I think for now, I think as far as this video goes, that's a good place to stop, because I highly recommend that you all check this out. It has become a bit obscure, but if you can find it, I do recommend it. And that is all for me. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, a happy Independence Day to all of my American viewers out there. This coming Monday on the channel, I'll be dropping a channel update as to where this channel is going, because the AFI project did wrap up last week, and so I just want to make a quick video explaining where the channel is going to be going for the rest of this year. And as far as next Sunday goes, I'll be dropping my first reaction to the Studio Ghibli film, Howl's Moving Castle. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way, when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.